Well, Reed, that was definitely not a Jin Air shuttle. That was flying the shuttle that was trying to drop the Zealots there. Welcome back, everybody, to the Jin Air SSL Classic. 3 of 4 best of ones this evening are completed. We have one more TVP. That last one, some greed out of Free, some really interesting engage attempt, and a game that he was pretty ahead in terms of knowledge and economy, from tricking Sock into playing defensively. It didn't end up working out for him in the end.
No, Sock was just like kind of slow and steady, won the race there in game number 3, but now we get a chance to watch a very different style of TVP. We get a chance to see Light play against Rain, and Rain really rapidly became one of my favorite players, deliberate word choice, because not only was he just one of the best StarCraft 2 players ever to play the game, but he comes back to StarCraft 1 Brood War and is really, really solid. If you want a Protoss player to copy builds from, I mean, Rain's builds just look right. He always has like a very standard build order. His control is really good. But I think the thing that most impresses me is his just the unit movement. Anytime you need to have units somewhere, Rain always has them there. And his opponent, Light, kind of one of the weaker Terrans, at least that I've seen lately. When I was watching him in ASL team battle, he kind of gets fatigued a little bit easily. So if these games do go very long, which they really haven't done today, then it could shift things in Rain's favor.
Rain has a 70% win rate in this matchup in recent times as well. He's just totally dominant since he's switched back to Brood War. Light, on the other hand, this is his worst matchup, and he has, again, no real notable results. I like to say this not to take anything away from Light, but really just to show you the fans realistically that he is the underdog here, and he's looking for something. He's been playing the game for several years and is really looking for finally the light at the end of the tunnel. He's a very popular player, but you know, if you compare the two in terms of results, especially with StarCraft 2, as you mentioned, Rain is the superstar. You can look at the famous GIF of Rain winning in Pro League and high-fiving a fangirl at the end of the row, and her just jumping out of the seat with how excited she was. Huge cheer for Rain. By far the big fan favorite tonight. Out of all 8 players here, he is by far the most popular.
Yep. Yeah, Rain's got his picture on the wall in the Afrika studio because he is a GSL champion in StarCraft 2. He was really up and coming in StarCraft 1. Somewhat ironically used to be named Sun, and now he's Rain. But definitely no Rain on his career. It was great, storied in many different ways. And now he's back to really make his mark in StarCraft Brood War again. And really a lot of great opportunities. He's looked great in individual leagues coming up until now. Now he gets a chance to go up against Light in our last game of the night.
And just really unfortunate, he hit his prime at the end of Brood War, but now with the resurgence, he has an opportunity to switch back to his game of choice and make a new name. He's already the biggest, most famous player playing today in terms of fans, but we'll see if he can win this match against Light. He's highly favored again. He's much better at the matchup. It's his best, Light's worst. Let's go into our 4th and final match today of opening day of SSL Classic 2017. Here we go, on to Jade once more. Neo Jade, to be precise.
Indeed it is. These are not the Jades you're looking for. All right, well that is our Terran player Light. Maybe a slight underdog. I know at least a lot of the fan predictions that I was checking out did have Rain as a slight favorite here. And here he is as the orange Protoss player, spawning on the bottom left-hand corner of the map. Yeah, so we already got a chance to see Neo Jade once, but we didn't get a chance to see it for long. Effort versus Hero did not take very long to finish things up. So hopefully this time around we'll get a chance to maybe see a little bit else out there. Once again, just to remind you guys, It's got a low ground main, and I think the coolest part of Jade is I think there's a ramp connecting the second and third, so it makes it a little bit easier to pick that one up.
Absolutely. It's also very difficult for the Protoss to attack the Terran directly with Dragoons because the area around the natural is very small, and you can't really outmaneuver the Terran there because of how the ramp works. So you have a choke point there that your Dragoons kind of have to bounce around in, and especially once the bunker's up or the siege tank comes out, you don't even really want to mess around out there, and you can't stay too long. But you can try to cut the Terran off from taking the third base. Again, there's just not a lot of room to work with. It's a lot different than the map we just watched, Circuit Breaker, where you have this area you can fan your Dragoons out all the way across the map. So very different in how it functions. With Aggression. We saw the safe Zealot come out last time for free. We'll see if Rain follows suit here. He's put his gateway fairly far forward, which will help him have a faster rally. He can set up kind of a wall later on for defense.
Yeah, now usually we do see faster expansions on this map in particular, just because you do want to get yourself out of that low ground hole as quickly as possible. Here comes the command center. So wow, command center CC first. Yikes.
He's going to put it right in this choke point.
He's actually getting pretty lucky because Rain will scout him last, so that means that at least if Rain were going for a more aggressive strategy, he would be doing it super blind.
Now this fan sign says, you've won a StarCraft 2 title, and now let's win one for StarCraft 1. So a Rain fan there to try to bring him in here. Now the Zealot is going to come across regardless, and there's actually going to be a bit of a luck factor here as to whether or not the SCV is on the inside or the outside when the Zealot arrives to this wall. He's got the probe to help out, and this could be disastrous here for Light as it's a very aggressive pressure. SCV on the outside, but he gets in, but the barracks building one is on the outside, trapped outside. He's going to have to halt and come back in. He does avoid the second shot, but the second SCV will not be so lucky. Ooh, missed targets there, now both in the safe zone. He sent another SCV to help defend this, but the second Zealot is coming up. He needs this barracks to finish. So critical. The CC will eventually finish, but the barracks is more important right now.
Great SCV control, but he will lose one. More coming up for repair, but yeah, you won't be able to do that until you finish building the actual building. So now Light will be safe inside the wall, but this is still going to be sizable pressure. Already going to throw up that bunker behind.
Yeah, with the wall here, obviously Dragoons are going to be great to pressure and poke, but for the time being, he really just has the bunker to help stave this off. The Marine pops out on the wrong side, though. Yeah, that is really annoying.
So Marines units always pop out on the same side of the building. So with that barracks placement, that's not going to get your Marine on the inside. Now, I guess what he can try to do is lift one of the buildings and then get them in underneath the command center. However, that would let the Zealots in too. So this is really just going to be a rough spot for Light to be in.
The problem is that, okay, he's going to lift now. For the timing, doesn't get it, though.
He targets down the Marine instantly.
The SCV is coming out. He's going to lose so many. This may just be GG here. He's going to finally get this Marine in. The SCV is blocking, but it will get inside, I believe. Yeah, it does get in there underneath, but he just targets down SCV's side. SCV's needs to pull away and repair the bunker. Now, the problem is if the Zealots get past the bunker, that's another issue entirely. So he's trying to block them with the SCVs, but he's lost so many now. Second Marine will get in the bunker. Now the Zealots are going to run by. Well, I feel like this is almost all she wrote here for this game.
Yeah, just so many SCVs getting taken out. Now, turns out SCVs are pretty good when it comes to battling, but losing even more, and does need to definitely get those Marines back inside the bunker.
He's researching Singularity Charge, by the way. This barracks is not going to be long for this world in its current position.
Yeah, and so we're going to transition to what normally would be a fairly standard part of PvT, where you siege the bunker at the front with range upgrade.
Oh, he's just going to run by!
Oh my god!
He's got enough shield to do so, but there's Marines here on the low ground. This may have actually been an overextension. One of the Marines was weakened from earlier. He's going to get away with most of his health. Now he's just going to siege before he has range on the barracks. That's why I say he had to lift it. Can't be in this current location. When the range finishes, he can siege the bunker because the Dragoons will outrange the Marines even inside the bunker.
So this has
been disastrous for Light.
Yeah, this is just a little bit rough. You can just look at, there are more probes there than Light will have SCVs for the next like 2 or 3 minutes. Like, I mean, to be fair, he does have an extra command center, but yeah, that economic advantage is more than eclipsed by the amount of damage done early on by Rain. And we really should have highlighted the pylon placement to allow the gateway on the high ground, much shorter travel distance there. And while there are enough SCVs,
I was mentioning this earlier. You know, it's unusual to see the gateway, the Garrix,
the gateway barracks.
He's trying to bait out shots, but it's actually just a right click, it appears to be here. He's not going to bait anything out. So he's basically just spending money right now. The Marine is like, hey, notice me, Dragoon Senpai. No, not going to happen.
Kawaii Dragoons. He will have to pull another SCV. Oh, nice. Did absorb a couple of shots there.
I mean, this is tragic. He's going to have a siege thing out fairly soon, but he hasn't even started siege mode yet.
Oh my god, yeah, that's actually so terrible.
I mean, look, he just doesn't have money, to be honest, Rapid. Like, I think he's actually making a shuttle, and he's just going to drop on top of anything that comes in. He's just going to start ferrying these units across. Like, if he survives, he's still not ahead, because Rain has a second Nexus up, has way more probes. By the way, let's actually talk about stylistically. This is so unlike Rain. He's such a defensive player, as you were saying. He plays standard, he plays safe. He's usually not the aggressor. Another SV comes down here. This is expensive, by the way. On top of everything else he's trying to build right now, he has to repair this.
Also notice
out now.
Yeah. Also notice that it might seem a little bit weird to be building a turret behind that. But if you don't have that up and one DT comes in, you just lose instantly. So
well, he might lose when the shuttle comes over here. Anyways, I'm pretty sure that's a shuttle coming across the map.
Right.
Now, oh no, it's actually going to be Reavers. My bad, I didn't see that yet.
Okay, well, yeah, he is going to have the Reaver coming up in a second. Now, siege mode is done, so that should push back these Dragoons eventually. But the tank isn't actually, I think, sieged far enough. Okay, it was just barely in range. So.
Notice the eBay as well is going to give him the spotting for the tank, as well as I believe the way it's positioned, so it's a little bit tougher to right-click on the, or just attack-click on the tank to target it down. So it's kind of underneath that, so you can't really target it, so the Dragoons will bug out. But here comes that first Reaver. He's going to do this without Gravitic Drive, but bringing a Zealot too, and I really feel like he could potentially just ferry these Dragoons over into the low ground, because this is how this map works. Yeah, he's going to block that tank a little bit, tougher to right-click on it now.
Right.
But, if he ferries these in, he might just win the game off the attack alone.
So that is what he's going to go for here. The shuttle is going to come across, try to drop the Reaver on the low ground here in the main. It will be totally unscouted. There's a great, it's a very deep base, so you can do this pretty unharassed. Now, he's going to scout things out with the shuttle. Drop the Zealot first. Here comes off the first big Reaver.
He sees it. As soon as he sees it, he knows he has no defense. He can't. He's got nothing. He has nothing in the main. He's defended he's put all his resources defending the front. Rain comes out with the W, and it's a 1-for-1 in terms of PVT today, but look, this is so unlike Rain on a 4-player map to do Zealot pressure. He's realized the tendencies of Light to CC first on this map, knows how to punish it, pressure it at the front. In terms of the Zealot harass versus the SCV, he got lucky half the time, but that wasn't really what it was all about. It was just about the fact that the Marines were spawning on the outside. If you're doing this in the bottom right, in the barracks,
totally
the Marines spawn on the inside. Totally different situation.
So, I mean, it's a cute kind of idea to make the CC part of your early wall, but especially, like, the Marine spawn location at the bottom of the barracks, you're just not going to have a good time, and everything just cascadingly getting worse and worse there. Rain, though, got to give him credit for a very good aggressive build order. The pylon right over the ledge, and then gateway in a great forward position. Early pressure that Light just really was not prepared for, and Rain able to execute perfectly. There is something to say that Brood War is not necessarily just a 1v1 game. It's kind of a 2v1 or a 3v1, because both the game is against you in the wacky unit control, and you have to fight kind of your own brain to multitask everything all at the same time. So even when you do have that great aggressive build order, I mean, you could have put me in that situation. I would have lost the game, because it does matter a lot about your unit control, the decision making to say, okay, well, what do I do next? And Rain just had everything exactly when he needed it to, kept the pressure on, and I think the GG timing at the end was very telling. That's like when you're playing Hearthstone and you know your opponent has lethal and you just leave before you know he can kill you. That's what that was.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention that you could fit 4 Dragoons in a shuttle. He could have just sent the shuttle back and then pull 2 Dragoons in a shuttle, 4 Zealots in a shuttle. But he has 1 Reaver and 1 Zealot. Drops the Zealot first. He goes and picks it. He could pick the Dragoons up 2 by 2 and send them in. My brain's thinking Stalkers there. Anyway, you shuttle the Dragoons in 2 by 2. They're very fat and chunky there in the shuttle. They didn't optimize the data there. We like to call
Dragoons big-boned, Wolf.
Okay, they didn't optimize the data until the Warp Prism later on in the future, the Protoss race. But anyways, it could have ferried those in slowly, just snowball that game, or if the units leave to defend the Reaver, then he just attacks the front with the Dragoons. The game was so over at that point.
Yeah.
And, you have to question obviously this is very unlikely for Rain to attack. He's not a very attack-oriented pro. He usually just takes very defensive plays. So I think the idea here for Light is, okay, this is risky in this position because my Rains pop out on the outside, but it's Rain, so he probably won't attack me. Gets unlucky. Rain tricks him.
I mean,
there you have it.
I think you're just going to see a lot more of this very fast games because it is just a best of one. A lot of players are going to be trying for these very, I guess, tricky wins. And that's a lot of what we saw here today. So just to recap our match results for the first day of SSL Classic. Mind taking a win over Sulky. Hero over Effort with a very fast rush in about 3 minutes. And then Sock taking Free out and Rain picking up the win against Light.
And not all of our days will quite be this quick, I would say, especially with the 2 games that happened to end so quickly. And the Sock versus Free series as well could have been a bit longer had Free not made that decision to engage and take that greedy 4th base, as you were mentioning. But this is just one of many, and here are our rankings, of course. It's going to be split 50-50. This won't really matter as much today as it does later. Just keep in mind that every player on the top of the list here also took home 400,000 Korean won, whereas those on the bottom only come home with 100,000, so making 4 times as much as their opponents today. So you can actually multiply the wins as we go deeper into this tournament. Because this is best of one, the rankings are a little bit cleaner than they are in StarCraft 2, because in StarCraft 2 ties are decided by map score, and you have best of 3s, whereas we may have ties going before playoffs going into this tournament. Here's our matches for next week.
Yep, Mind taking on Rain in our first game. That'll actually be really cool. We're going to see a battle of players that won this week, coming up next week. And then Hero versus Free. Free definitely needing to look a little bit cleaner coming into next week. And then Effort versus Sock should actually be pretty cool to see Effort showcase his very strong TVZ. And then closing things out with Sulky taking on Light to end out the day.
Yep, Sulky having that good performance against Flash that you mentioned in the ASL team battle, and having a tough time otherwise in the matchup, losing his match today. So hopefully he can redeem himself after that tough loss there. And we'll see. I'm most excited about Mind versus Rain, this iconic TVP that he's very known for, his very methodical style against Rain's very safe style. I think we'll see a longer one there. So that is it for us for Classic. However, you will be back with Valdez on Saturday for Challenge, and then on Monday the 17th, we have SSL Premier. So 5 best of 3s on Monday, and then the 4 on Saturday.
Yeah, so a 3-pronged attack here from SSL, bringing you 2 days of StarCraft 2 every week, and of course this 1 day on Thursday of StarCraft Brood War. Really kind of surprising me after going from no SSL for a while, and then coming back with a vengeance with crazy formats, super cool maps, and not just StarCraft 2, but StarCraft Brood War added in as well.
Yeah, and you know, when we started off tonight, maybe about 20 minutes of the broadcast, the crowd was about half empty or so. It's really filled out here, which is unfortunate. The matches were so fast, because I imagine if they were continuing to go on, it would fill up more. Probably people watching on their phones on the way on the subway like, oh, I guess I should just get off and go up the stairs and go down and go home.
Well, the day was pretty short today, but if you do have additional feedback, make sure to let us know. You can tweet it at us individually at ProxyWolf or at Rapid Casting, or just tweet at SpoTV_games on Twitter. And we definitely do check all of the feedback from that, just because it is our first time doing StarCraft 1 over here at SpoTV Games. So really looking to make it the best show on Earth.
But sorry guys, we're not giving you health bars, no matter what you say.
Or hotkeys, so.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next time. I'm really sad about that.
Can't have either one of those. But hope you guys enjoyed the first day of SSL Classic. That's going to be it for us. So while we construct additional pylons, we'll catch you guys on Saturday for SSL Challenge.
See you guys then. Goodbye.